I am audible, right? Hello.
Yes, Bhaiya, you're audible.
Okay. So, welcome everyone. Hope you are doing well. So, thank you for joining the session. So, today we will be discussing about uh, what is cloud and why we need them, and uh, what all these things about. And we will be discussing about the future of cloud also, like uh, why you should learn these things. So, I am Vipok Bishas from Third Year BTech, and I am the Google Cloud Career Practitioner Camping Facilitator. And I will be moving forward with this session. So, these are the agenda format. Your career in the cloud, what is cloud, and we will be showing some demos. So, as I saw earlier, like the responses are very nice for his cloud. Like, so you know something about the cloud. This is related about data and virtual machines, networking, etc. So, why should you learn about cloud computing in your higher education? So, uh, so this is a field like uh, relatively new, but the thing is, uh, this is quite a growing technology, and there are many things like you can't do in alone. So uh, you have to rely upon some cloud provider like Google Cloud Provider or AWS Cloud Provider or Azure services. So these are all about these things, and we will be specifically talking about Google Cloud because we sponsored, no, not sponsored, but because the session is from GDSC. And talking about Google Cloud, this will be an introductory session, and you can learn in depth from their Google Cloud website. There are some cloud certificate sessions also, like there are some fundamental and as I said chapters, like there are cloud digital leader certification, and for the intermediate level there are cloud engineers section, and for the professional, like you have a basic concept about cloud and how to work with them, so you can learn about cloud architecture, cloud developer, data engineer, machine learning, etc. also. So we will be having a total of 4 sessions. So in this session, this will be a basic session. Uh, we will be covering upon what is cloud and these things, very basic. So as we see earlier, there are total of 3 sections: fundamental, then intermediate, and the professional. So for the intermediate cloud engineer, there are 6 paths, pathway also, where you can start learning about the basics of cloud. So starting with how to create and manage cloud resources, then we'll be learning about what is cloud resources later. So there are the platform. The Google gives us a quite a good platform, but if you don't know about things, so you will be in a problem like how to use multiple things. So you will be learning about them also. Then you will be learning about how to manage cloud virtual environments and how to manage and deploy them, how to maintain their network securities, load balancing, etc. And the last but not the least, you will be learning about how to deploy Kubernetes or in Google Cloud. So Kubernetes are like a droplet or virtual machine, these things. This is another track. I think there are some advanced tracks like cloud architect, cloud developers, data engineers. So machine learning is one of them. Uh, if you if you are quite familiar with the clouds, then you can go for it. Uh, this is again based on your interest. So if you are interested in machine learning and you don't have a proper machine to learn largest models, so you can run your models in Google Cloud. Uh, Also, you can learn about machine learning also from here. Yeah, there are some chapters like uh, getting started, how to manage cloud resources and how to run the things. So anyway, what is cloud? Uh, so cloud is an on-demand service with broad network access and resource pooling, rapid elasticity and measure service. So I will be discussing about this in brief, like what on first of all, why we need cloud. So uh, the thing is, like if you build an application, it can be a mobile application or it can be a web application also, then desktop application also. So uh, we can categorize this application in mainly two categories, static and dynamic. So what the static application does, like uh, you make some application and give the whole application to a client. They run in their local machines. That's it. But in dynamic application, which are mainly the main asset of of any companies. So the dynamic application, what happens, like you have mainly two components. There are multiple components, but mainly you have two components. One is the front end and one is the server or the backend, whatever. So you give the front end thing to the client. They use it as an user interface, and there is some backend running in the backside where it collects all the user data and manage all the data. So for the maintaining a server, you need a good amount of resources. So like uh, when I say server, so this is a computer, I guess. So let's say you build some applications and you have a backend server also, or uh, which maintains user data. So in the development stage, you make the application in your local machine, and you can show the application from your machine, I think. But let's say you have to public the application, and you will be giving the application to your users. So the problem is how they can get access to the server, because you can't open your server to everyone, because your machine can't do that. And also uh, for for managing large amount of network traffics, also this is a headache. There is some other problem like the
Excuse me, Bhaiya.
yes,
I think your voice is breaking.
uh, excellent. Let me join from another device. Am I audible now? Hello.
Is it fine for everyone? Can you all write a yes in the chat box? Yes, Bhaiya, fine, audible.
Great, great. So let's continue. So let's say you have an application which is running fine, and it collects user data. So you have to make the backend public, like so that everyone can access. So how you can do that? there are multiple problems for this. Like you have to uh, post it publicly, and this is a challenging task. So normal computers can't do that. There are dedicated servers for that purpose. And even if you manage to do so there are some other problems, like say your machine can handle 10,000 requests per second, and uh, you you have gained your you have improved your business, and currently you have 20,000 requests per second. So you have to scale your machines. So this is not a easy process. You have to buy multiple machines, and this is more of a complex thing. So here we can use cloud computing as an easy option. So what they does, they provide us on-demand services. So they provides us multiple services, like there are multiple database services, multiple uh, virtual machine services, there are cloud functions or Kubernetes, etc. And you don't need to use them all. You what you will be using what you only need. And also, in case of local machine, there will be some network problem, like the bandwidth issues. But those cloud computing have higher bandwidth, like 1 Gbps, or the uh, minimum virtual machines have 1 Gbps internet speed. So you can imagine how well infrastructure they have. Next, they have resources pooling, like uh, let's say you have make a website in your local, and that's good. You can uh, at least make your website public in your network, but let's say you have to share some file, and you have to give them access some of your file. So one option can be an FTP server, where you can create an user and give the credential to them. But here the problem is, if let's say in a folder there consists five file, and you want to give access five file to five different people, so that could be a problem. So there is this resource pooling, where uh, there are some storage system where you can give access to particular user who can access that content, and you can store any amount of data in them. Not to mention, you have to bill for that also. And there is elasticity. So what is elasticity is like uh, the thing I talked about earlier. Like you have 10,000 requests per second traffic, and let's say you have hike in your traffic, like 20,000 requests per second. So you have to expand your resources. So you this in this cloud services, this is simple. Like you uh, choose your, if your service is running in a VM machine, then you just copy the VM machine, and you use some load balancer. That's it. You don't have to buy some machine and configure them manually. Uh, so this is a relatively easy process, and uh, more time conservative. And the last and not the least, the major services. So obviously these things are not free of cost. You have to pay for what you are using, what services you are using. So here one thing, like you will be only using for the services you are using. Like, if you don't use, like if you buy a new computer for your server, then it might have some database, and it may be the case that you don't use the database. So that is another a kind of wasting resources. But in this case, you if you don't use a resource, then you don't pay for it, right? So you will be paying only for the services you are using. Next, so every company is a data company. So as I said earlier, there are two type of application. One is static, and one is dynamic. So static is pretty straightforward, but uh, whenever you collect some user data, or we transfer user data, or some way manipulate user data. So that is a company. So what this Google Cloud provides us, they provides us mainly three type. There are more, but mainly three type of services: IaaS, EaaS, and SaaS. So IaaS is like infrastructure as a service, and as you read this full form from here, so what is what infrastructure is, like the very base level components, like uh, basic needs like CPU, GPUs, and RAM, etc. So if you like need the basic things, a basic computer, uh, so you can go for it. Infrastructure as a service. Uh, you can run your platform in those infrastructures, and if you build some application on your platform, and both the things can run into this infrastructure. So you just buy the CPU, memory, storage, networking, etc. Like some example are VMware or virtual machines, uh, images, or etc. Then there are also freedom also, like you can choose which OS we should unit use, or you can upload your custom OS images also. So you will be given access to an empty machine, and you will be using that machine as a remotely. Then we have platform as a service. So this is one step ahead. Like the platform as a service provides us some platforms. Okay, so like databases, mainly the a major example of platform as a service is databases. Like there are multiple databases uh, Google provides. So the database is already installed in some infrastructure, and they don't give us the access of the infrastructure, because we can accidentally delete or modify, hamper this platform. So they give access to this platform only, and we use this some of these platforms to build our application, and this is quite uh, easy to access, I guess. The one good thing about this platform as a service is like the hardware component. Like the hardware component for the hardware component, the Google provider, they manages the hardware component, and the configuration things, and this thing the developer manages. So the developers don't need to worry about the whole thing. That's it. Then we have the software service. So this is one step further ahead. So they gives a fully fledged software as a service, and we configure some of the configuration of their service, and we provide them to our user directly interact with this service, and data and data goes to our databases. We can later use some BigQuery or any analytic tool to see what our user are doing. So this image is all about like how Google is connected through multiple countries, and these are some of the data centers that they are connected through these lines. Now the cloud provides us some of the basic tools, like compute tools, then some storage tool, and some analytic tools. So as the name mentions, compute tools is like uh, you can perform some computation, any kind of computation with this compute tools. Then for the storage system, we store not only database but any files or any kind of data we can store use the storage systems. So starting from this compute engine and uh, app engine, these are some kind of virtual machines, so where you can run your code and any project directly. App engine is specific for any app, and there is Google Kubernetes engine for running Kubernetes images. Then there is cloud function. So what cloud function is like, you upload some function and the function runs. That's it. So here you don't have to. This is called serverless functions, by the way. Like Amazon also this thing called Lambda services. So there you don't need to think about some system configuration also. Like if you have a infrastructure as a service, you have to worry about your system configuration. So in case like if you have to just upload a single function, uh, so buying a whole server for that is like overkilling. So there is this cloud function. If you have just one or two function, uh, then there are cloud run also. Next we have storage systems. So Google gives us some variety of options for storing our data. There is cloud bigtable, cloud storage, cloud SQL, cloud spanner, data storage, etc. So cloud SQL is basically a SQL database, and in cloud storage you can store some binary files also, like images and media, and the main purpose I think most of user use to store CSS file or JavaScript file, static files, etc. Then there is some cloud bigtable for storing structured and unstructured data both. And there is something called BigQuery. Yes. So what we do after we store user data? The main there are main two purposes, like getting analysis from the data so that we can understand user behavior and how our product, how the some changes in our product can change users mind, and how users our product is affecting users behavior. So uh, so analytics is an important thing so that uh, we can improve our products. So these are the some tools that Google Cloud provides to query on our data. This thing is very popular, BigQuery. And in BigQuery you can not only like if you have some experience in database SQL or not non-SQL, you might have see that like we use some query, and we can perform various kind of data manipulation in their database. But let's say you have some images and or some videos. So how you can store those images or videos in SQL database? So that is one kind of not possible thing. But the what BigQuery does is you can store images or videos or any binary data in this kind of storage, cloud storage or something, and you can query on binary files also. So this is another kind of great thing. There are AI platform notebooks also. Some of the free resources, I think there is Google Colab. Many of you might have used. So that is a great thing to. There are also data flow and pub sub something. There is also another thing like we can run machine learning models from a bunch of data, so that we can build some customized model that can analyze user behavior. Or if you don't know machine learning, or if you just want to use some existing model, so there is there gives that option also. There are vision API, speech to text APIs, and cloud transition API, AutoML, etc. So one of the main I think there are some other example, uh, dynamic search, or I think I don't know the name, but like auto completion. They have helps. We don't need to build some AI or ML for that. They already gives that API, and we can just enable the services and use that. Okay. Next, we will be starting how to do these things. Like I have talked about these services. So how we can start using these services. So there are mainly 4 ways to connect with Google Cloud. The one is Google Cloud Console. If if you ever have visited the Google Cloud website, and so there is a direct option to directly connect with Google Cloud through console. Okay, and next we have Google Cloud SDK. So if you have some terminal in your local machine, there are PowerShell or some other terminal, you can integrate. You can install those Cloud SDK and access those Cloud Shell from your local machines also. Then there are REST API based connection so that applications can use them as well. And last, there are Cloud Console mobile app for easy access. So this is what let me show this website. We share. Okay. So this is the Google Cloud website or the dashboard. There you can manage all the applications. Like these are the application I talked about. So these are the compute engine. There are virtual machines, VM instances, instant templates, TPUs, etc. There are lots of services. There are Kubernetes engines and BigQueries, these things. So how to access them? So here I think this is the Cloud Shell. Cloud Shell. So from the browser itself, we can connect directly to this. If we think like we should connect this thing from our local devices, we can install the Cloud SDK also. But I will prefer to uh, use this thing. Let's connect. In the meantime, so in the meantime, let me overview this dashboard as well. So the landing page contains some of the analytics like the project infos. This is the project option as well. Like this is my active project, and you can create new project from here. Then there is APIs if you have enabled some. Then there is billing, one of the important topics. You can monitor your resources from here. Then if some of your resources have some error, then it will show here error reporting. These are some news from latest news from Google Cloud developers. I think if some of this application gets updated or they implement some new feature in there, and you will be having those news here. There are the documentation. There is the documentation. You will be let's say you have you want to use this thing BPC route, some random topic. So best place to learn this thing is documentation. You just read this documentation, how to use this thing, how to enable, how to get access. So you read and just apply. For the beginner, there is getting started page also. Like for any application you want to learn about, you can click and just get started. You can trace your data, and there are some resources in yes, there are some resources. That's it. You can customize this look also, I guess. Okay. Let me open my Cloud Shell. I think I opened that Cloud Shell, but where it is gone? Give me a minute. I will be creating a new account. Account just expired. So in the meantime, I'll talk about some another important topic, project ID. So everything will be every services will be using it will be associated with a project ID. So for accessing a resource, you first have to create a project. Then you will be getting some project ID, project name, or project number. Three thing. Project ID is unique and it can be changed during the project creation. But if you successfully create the project, you can't change the project ID. There is project name. You can change the project name after you create. Then there is project number that is also immutable. So this is what I was talking about. This is project ID and this is global unique. This is mutable during creation. And there is project name which is not need to be unique, and you can change this anytime. Then the project number is again global unique and this is immutable. Let me open the Cloud Shell. So we have got our Cloud Shell. So as I said earlier, there are four methods to connect with this shell. One is this in-browser shell. Then and you can install SDK. There are APIs, and there is some app also. This is a Linux machine, and I think show the resources of this machine. So I think take some time. By default, this is a Linux machine, and you can, I think, change this also. So as you can see, like this is an Debian distro of Linux 11 Bullseye image. Then host is Google Compute Engine with latest kernel, and it have 8 GB of memory, uh, good amount of memory, and everything you can do from this dashboard. You can do from this Cloud Shell also. Like you can create projects or enable some services, enable some APIs from this shell also. So one of the main things is project. So this is a project, and I can create a new project also. So this is my project ID, project name, sorry. Then I have to choose some billing account. So what billing account does is you can configure multiple billing account or credit cards so that, and the Google will automatically deduct the charges for your services after every month. So you should be aware like which services you are using, and you have to turn off the services you are not using, so to avoid extra charges. That is an important step, not only for Google Cloud, but for all the providers, AWS and Azure also. Here you can see like I have option for project name only, and the project number and project ID are assigned automatically. I can choose location. So, so I don't think I can select location. That anyway. So uh, next the billing. So the billing happens in every end of every month, and you will be paying for all the services only that you are using. You don't have to pay for the whole thing. So if you are using some combination of two or three services, you will be paying those things, and the accounts are charged automatically. These things I have told you about already. So next, the Google Cloud SDK. So you can install this from the Google Cloud dashboard itself, and you can access from your local machine. Then Cloud Shell is an alternate, the best thing. We can access from our browser to this our Google Cloud dashboard, and no need to install Cloud SDK or any other tools locally. It runs on an Debian bullseye image already we have saw, and we have it. It has a 5 GB of persistent disk storage, so you can store some info in that also. It will remain there even if you close the shell. For starting the shell, I have shown this. This is the button, and you have to just click this. That's all. You will be having some black screen. And another interesting thing is like the cloud editor. So let's say uh, I want to change this readme cloud shell.txt. What is in this? What is this? Okay. So let's say I want to change this file. So one option is open editor. So it will connect with my shell, and I can edit any file from this cloud editor. But the recommended way of editing file is using Vim. I guess. If you are using some shell, then you must know some Vim or Nano so that you can edit any file from user. Okay, let's load. I think yes, got it. So this is the readme cloud shell.txt, and there are some other hidden folders also. So let's see those hidden folders. Let's skip this. This is taking time, some time. And last but not the least, this is the Android app. Nobody uses this, I guess, but this exists. if you want to modify some configuration or you want to turn off some resources, this is the best way. You just open your mobile phone and access those resources. You can do everything that you, you can do everything from this mobile app. So that's all about Google Cloud. Not all about, but this is all about basic things about Google Cloud. You can start learning about more of them from the Google Cloud, uh, Google console.cloud.google.com, where you can subscribe some of the certificates and you can get access to this content. Thank you. Uh, Also, you are open to any question. Do waiting for your question.